देख पा रहे हैं सॉफ्टवेयर ओपन हो रखा है, तो वही सेम चीज़ जो है इसके अंदर शो कर रहा है। ठीक है, यहाँ से क्या करेंगे, स्टार्ट स्ट्रीम कर देंगे। स्टार्ट स्ट्रीम करते ही जो है यहाँ पे जैसे देख रहे हैं नो डाटा अभी यहाँ लिख के आ रहा है, लेकिन अभी देखिए यहाँ पे जो है एक्सेलेंट कनेक्शन करके आ गया है यहाँ पे जो है। और यहाँ पे थोड़ी देर में जो आपको प्रीव्यू शो करने लगेगा कि आप जो है लाइव में क्या करने वाले हैं। यहाँ जो है गो लाइव में अभी देखेंगे कि जो है कनेक्ट स्ट्रीमिंग सॉफ्टवेयर करके आ रहा है, तो यहाँ पे अभी कनेक्ट कर रहा है, क्योंकि हमने यहाँ से जो है स्टार्ट स्ट्रीमिंग तो कर दिया है लेकिन अभी तक कनेक्ट नहीं किया है। और ये जैसे ही कनेक्ट कर लेता है तो यहाँ से जो है गो लाइव, देखिए आप देख पा रहे हैं कि ये जो है ब्लू कलर का हो गया है। तो जैसा कि आप देख सकते हैं कि यहाँ पे जो है प्रीव्यू शो करने लग गया है। ठीक है, तो जैसे यहाँ पे प्रीव्यू शो करने लग जाए तो आपको क्या करना है, यहाँ से गो लाइव पर क्लिक कर देना है। ठीक, तो हम अपने चैनल पे चलते हैं। यहाँ से जो है लाइव जो है यहाँ पे जैसे आप देखेंगे गोइंग लाइव, यू आर लाइव आ गया है और यहाँ से अब जो है एंड स्ट्रीम करके ऑप्शन बन के आ रहा है। हम अपने चैनल पे जाएंगे, ठीक है, और यहाँ से रिफ्रेश करेंगे। तो जैसे ही आप रिफ्रेश करेंगे तो देखेंगे कि यहाँ पे जो है एक लाइव चल रहा है। ठीक है, हमने लाइव टेस्ट नाम दिया था। इस पर हम जैसे ही क्लिक करके ओपन करेंगे और प्ले करेंगे तो देखेंगे कि यहाँ पे जो है कुछ इस तरह से खुल के आ रहा है। और हमने जो है डिस्प्ले कैप्चर पे लगा रखा था, तो वही सेम चीज़ जो है इसमें भी शो कर रहा है। ठीक है, तो हम इसको जो है
She has finished MA in Medical Anthropology at the School of Oriental and African Studies in 1991 in London University. Again, she has finished BA Honors.
Ma'am, once again, ma'am, not audible.
Audible, just a minute.
Yes, ma'am, it's okay, ma'am.
Okay. Is it audible? Is it audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Audible, Arka?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
You can continue.
She has finished.
You can continue.
Okay. She has finished MA in Medical Anthropology at the School of Oriental and African Studies in 1991 in London University. Again, she has finished BA Honours in Film and Video, London College of Printing in 1988. Certificate in Health Education, Westminster College in 1994. She's also a trained nurse in Sri Lanka. She was one of the founder members and chairwoman of the Tamil Refugee Housing Association from 1985 to 88. Founder member and chairwoman of the Tamil Women's League. Organized Women's Sandipu in London in 2005. And she is a member from various literary associations. The list is going on. She had published 7 novels, 6 collection of short stories, 2 medical books on anthropological study of Tamil Murugan god, and more. List is going on. And she got many awards. I could mention few awards in this forum. Sri Lankan Independent Writers Award for her novel Bank of the River Themes in 1993. Sri Lanka Academy Award for Literature, Padipaliyum Iravugal in 1994. And she got many awards with the women. She got many awards. In this introduction, I am inviting Mrs. Rajeshwari Bala to talk about violence against women in pandemic period, a gender perspective analysis. Over to Mrs. Rajeshwari Bala. Thank you.
Okay, Ma.
You can start now.
Okay, Ma. I'll start now. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. I had to say thank you first to the professor of Ethiraj College, Ms. Trimadi, Mrs. Arangamaliga, and also I had to thank the person who introduced me to Ethiraj College. That's former Professor Prema. And also I'm thanking all of you are here to listen to me today. I'll be talking about COVID-19 and during the time violence against the women, not in India or Sri Lanka, globally how it's happening and why it's happening and what kind of steps people have taken to prevent it or help the women. To do that, I had to tell you all the history of women violence in the sense of disasters in the past and how the women face the situation, because most of the disaster, regardless whether it is natural disaster or man-made disaster such as a war, women and children are the victims of many disasters. The first person of COVID-19 identified in December 1999 in China. Since then, the whole world have completely gone back many centuries, such as we all have to stay in. We have no contact with each other except the immediate family. And also the economical situation, social structure. The whole system of what is society been dismantled at the moment because of the COVID-19. Dear students, I wrote my paper in Tamil because I didn't know it's going to be the talk or the session for the students from all over India. But I will be talking to you in English because that's easy for me. But I hope I may say a few things in Tamil, but it's not much, but I'll continue my talk in English. when I talk about disaster, we had to talk about the disaster, which is still people take it as an example. What kind of disaster we faced in the past, such as we faced a tsunami, we faced all kind of disasters such as flood, hurricane, all those things. In these incidents, people move, people lose things, people lose their family, property, livelihood, sometimes complete their past. Recently, there was earthquake in the Middle East. They had to move somewhere. They have to run. Nothing they could take. So that is a meaning of natural disaster. You have no preparation, just run. In the virus incidents today, it's not the first time. In the past, we face chickenpox, measles, and so on. And also, there's places where bad effect of TB. These are the illnesses people face through the natural disaster. But in 1347 to 1351, the world faced a massive disaster that's called the plague. It was in Europe and Northern Africa, where, according to my research, 25 to 200 million people have lost their life. Like that, 1918, 1919 to 20 period, there's a virus called, there's a flu called Spanish influenza. It started in America, but affected many people. It's most of the people who were affected, 20 to 40, they were the soldiers. And also people, young people, old people being affected. But a large number of casualties were the 20 to 40 young people. Our time, not your time, you may not born. My time, because I worked with the situation. During the mid-1980s, the world faced another horrible illness, which they never know. That's called AIDS. HIV and AIDS. People never knew that kind of thing can exist. There were lots of sexually transmitted diseases in the past, but not like AIDS. Such as today, we have virus infection, but we always have virus infection, but not as COVID-19. In the HIV and AIDS, mainly people lost many thousand lives, mainly in Africa. The recent research in 2018 say roughly about 770,000 people have lost their life in African countries. That's the World Health Organization report. But today, the COVID-19 bringing many disasters, much more than that. According to Guardian, on the Guardian London paper on the 12th, yesterday, it said we lost 568,000 people up to now. That's a recorded death. I think that's much more than that, because people are dying at home. People don't come to hospitals. So the number of deaths in COVID-19, much more than 567,000, I can tell, because people may not even know this is COVID-19 when they die with the cough and cold, which quite often all people die with it. And just about 12 million, they said, over 12 million people are infected. After 12 million people infected, 7 million people have recovered. But people are expecting the second wave. Second wave, nobody knows how bad it's going to be, because 100 years ago, when the Spanish flu came, the first wave, not too bad. Well, it was bad, but the second wave killed many million people. So people are frightened at the moment about the second wave of COVID-19, because nobody has found the vaccine yet. Nobody has found the medicine yet. They were giving this and that, but you can't cure with, this is a medicine, I'm going to give it to COVID-19. No, people are trying to give. So in that sense, this is a kind of frightening illness we are facing. But when I say women and violence and COVID-19, women face violence most of the time when the disaster comes. I told you before. The recent time, if you all are reading paper, you will know. 2014, there was a community in Iraq called Yazidi community. They were wiped out by the Islamic State terrorists. Yazidi people were the ethnic minority in north of Iraq. There's a woman wrote many articles, and she won the Nobel Prize 2018. Her name is Nadia Murad. What she said is sexual violence, rape, mainly rape, is used as a weapon against the women by men. So not only in that situation, most of the situation that's happening to women, did to show how the men are in power. So as you all know, not only is a political disaster, women, ordinary women who are at their house, ordinary women who go to schools and colleges, go to work, or wherever they go, sometimes they'll be attacked because they are women. Because this is happening all the time. Doesn't matter how many times, doesn't matter how many government, doesn't matter whether World Health Organization or United Nations talk about it, or doesn't matter how many international women conferences have been held. As you know, the first women conference in the world, recent time, 1975, they said that is a year for the women. They talked about a hell of a lot of things to empower the women, enhance the women life, but nothing might change in terms of violence against women, because the situation getting worse than better. Doesn't matter how educated the community is at the moment, how advanced with the technology and all, yet women are treated as they are sex toys by some men. Today, COVID-19, because of the isolation women face with no family except their husband or boyfriend, partner. In India and Sri Lanka, you don't live with your boyfriend. When Western world, many people live with their partner, they don't call boyfriend, or they do call boyfriend, of course, their partners. They face horrendous abuses, physical abuses, emotional abuses, sexual abuses, because they are put into the place where they have no escape. So not only women in the marital situation, and also women who are there, relations and friends, sometimes extended family structure, you have 2 or 3 family together. So they will be facing the same situation. And also young women. I didn't talk about young women a lot today. That means teenagers and adolescents. Today I'm talking about violence in family, mainly about married women. And also one aspect I want to talk about, old ladies. Old ladies are facing tremendous abuse at present because of their life changes, nuclear family, and although the extended family structure doesn't eroding away, doesn't exist, and so I can't say that, but eroding away because any time in history, people are moving to place for better life. That means they are leaving their loved ones, their parents. So olden days, our duty, the children duty to look after the parents, no longer. The children send money. The parents put it in the old people home. If they can't afford to stay in the old people home, then that's not a real life, really. It's a kind of somebody giving food and drink and smile at you for the salary they get, but not like the love you get from your grandchildren, your kids. So that kind of life going on. In that life, quite often the women will suffer more because the whole world, men die earlier than women because the lifestyle, women lifespan, couple of years more than men internationally, particularly Western world. But the old people are suffering everywhere. Now, the situation is going to be not going to be better because nobody knows how long is the COVID is going to last. Because of that, millions of people are going to suffer financially as well as their livelihood, normalcy. No more the normalcy 6 months ago. Now we have new normal. You don't know whether you are going to have your job in 5 months' time or 6 months' time because huge number of companies are closing down. Huge number of establishments are closing down. In London, almost everything closed down for 3 months. Now they are opening up like any other country, little by little. In that sense, in London alone, 1 million young people have lost a job, mainly girls, women, and from 18 to 24, they wouldn't have a job. They may be working somewhere else. They may be facing atrocity and abuse by these people who don't know how to respect others. And also, we are going to face very bad poverty because one day, according to Oxfam, 120,000 people die. No, not 120, 12,000 people die. I tell you, Oxfam report. 12,000 people die every day. Continuing COVID-19, this number will increase very, very badly. In the whole world, there are millions of people in poverty line. In that poverty line, 60% of the women don't have food. In the world, when you face poverty and hunger, the human being behave very differently. Survival is a must. Survival is a must. So they will do anything to survive. So what they do, there are thousands of people, thousands of young people trafficked for prostitution. Thousands of people trafficked to work in foreign countries. According to one report, when I was doing the research, I just found roughly 200,000 women per year from Nepal taken away to work for somewhere else or sold to foreign countries to work. At the moment, thousands and thousands of women working in the Middle East are from India, Sri Lanka, and Southeast Asia, such as Filipinos and things like that. And they suffer more violence always. Imagine that period now. They have no choice. They can't go anywhere. They will be in the places where they are going to face hell of a lot of abuse. I helped a woman from India. She was a worker in Middle East. Her employer, the lady, the house in the Middle East, they were in London. And the lady was abusing this poor old lady, the servant woman. So one day she took the iron and ironed the old lady's back. So she burned. So she screamed. So next door white people complained to the authority. So the case came to the court. I went as a translator. Then I asked the lady, you are old, you are still working. Can't you look after you back home? No, Amma. If I don't work, my daughter wouldn't get any money. Her husband will beat her up. So because of her daughter, she's working. So that's one of the examples I tell you, the workers in the Middle East. I can tell you many stories about the Middle East because I know many stories from Sri Lanka. And also, today, we're supposed to be the human history. This is a time where we have more knowledge, more power, more technical affluency, economical affluency than any time in the history. Yet, men are behaving badly. Olden days, when we were hunting and gatherers, we were in the jungle. We were in the caves. But yet, people have to look after each other from the animal. So they live together, care for each other because you have to care for each other, otherwise the animal will come and kill you. Today, similar situation, we are put it in the cave because of the COVID. Well, it's our house. With electricity, all the gadgets we can have. Yet, women are going to face a hell of a lot of problem more than the hunting and gatherers time. Because here, there are few men will treat a woman like sex slave or inhuman, second-class citizens, all kind of thing. Tanimaypaduttal, that's an isolation. The meaning of isolation. If you talk to people who are in isolation last few months, they tell you the feeling of being isolated. Because when the isolation came, the first few days they didn't mind. They didn't mind because you have everything. Well, middle class people have everything in their house. You don't have to do. You can order the food. You can order the food sent to you. I was in Sri Lanka. I went to see my sister. I was under the curfew by the government because of the COVID. So I was there for 2.5 months, isolated. I know the feeling. But here, the isolation is with the person who's supposed to care for you. The people, not only the husband. There are places, the household can be very horrible place for a woman. I want to read Howard University, Judith Homer, who is specialized on stress, I think, trauma. She's saying in her article, in this situation, in the COVID-19 situation, some women are treated like this. As if a person kidnaps a woman for sex, he will manipulate, he will dominate, he will bully, he will do everything. As he said, he will take the woman and he will make the way for her to please him in any way. So today, in the COVID-19 situation, some men are going to be like that. I'll read it in Tamil. Howard பல்கலைக்கழகத்தைச் சேர்ந்த யூடித் ஹேமா என்ற மனத்தியை பற்றிய நிபுணர் கூறும்போது, இந்த சந்தர்ப்பத்தில் சில ஆண்கள் ஒரு பெண் கடத்தற்காரன் ஒரு பெண்ணை கடத்தி தனிமையில் வைத்து தன் தேவைகளுக்கு அவளை பாவிக்க என்ன முறைகளை கையாளுவானோ அதே மாதிரி சில துணைவர்கள், ஹஸ்பண்ட் ஓ பார்ட்னர், COVID-19 தனிமைப்பட்ட காலகட்டத்தில் தங்கள் மனைவியை அல்லது காதலியை கையாள்வதாக சொல்லப்படுகிறது. All reports are coming out. Okay. Interpreter, April 6th, 2020, paper. There's a Bristol the person from, two people from Bristol University, they said. What they are saying, the women, abuse of women increases when the people are in isolation. Example, in the Western world, the higher number of divorces come after Christmas holiday, because Christmas holiday is a big deal in England. The holiday start from Christmas Eve and end up to New Year. So between the time, 2 or 3 days of working day, but people don't go to work because they take the whole week off. And that time, hell of a lot of problem. Then large number of divorces in England, the Western world, after Christmas time, because the friction. When they are together for a long period, then they see right and wrong from each other. The friction start, conflict start, arguments start, violence start. So the divorces, more divorces after Christmas. And also they say, and also holiday time. Holiday time, when they go on holiday. So you book the place, children, one room for the children, one room for the parents, 2 rooms they booked, and stay in Spain or Greek or wherever. I'm talking about experience of England. You may be going somewhere else and the same way. By here, over there, them, quite often you may have English-speaking holiday makers. Otherwise, you end up in a place there's no English-speaking holiday makers, only you. When we went to Greek 6 months ago, me and my English friends, there are places we visit. One place we wanted to really visit because it's a very isolated place. Not a single person could speak English. So we said that is a very rare thing in Europe, because almost everybody speaking English in Europe. In Norway or wherever you go, everybody does. But when you go to places where no connection, so when you go on holiday, oh, why did you bring us here? Problems start. Or sometimes you lose money because they charge you lots of money, or someone rob you. So problems start where family friction start. So holiday time mean Christmas time, people going on holiday. These are the isolation from others. Example, COVID is isolation from others. So these are the isolation from other family for a short period. So people have problem. So according to a report, in the whole world, roughly every year, 30,000 women in the world being killed by their husbands or boyfriends. But another 20,000 killed by the people they know. That means in-laws, somebody else in the household. So the women, these many thousand women, the home is not a safe place for them to live. This is a horrible place to live. This is a BBC report in 2019. For places like India, the domestic violence, not only by the husband and also by the family. So this kind of incident, certain countries have extended family, and the problem will be not only by the husband, also by the others. So the COVID situation creating women to be under control of many people she's not familiar with. Imagine a young lady who just got married and come into the in-laws house, few months, COVID came along. She's getting to know these people and problems start. So she wouldn't know how long the COVID isolation going to finish. So imagine the emotional situation she's going through. A woman, maybe she is only one girl in the family for their parents, or 1 in 3, doesn't matter. She come to a strange place looking and hoping to have a very secure life. No. So the COVID is creating tremendous situation for people who are starting life, things like that. Anyway, the whole situation of domestic, not only domestic violence, violence against women during the COVID, even the United Nations Secretary for this issue, Antonio Guterres, he said, a hell of a lot of problem. The whole world is reporting the violence against women. Every single government must take action, he said. So you can't tell how bad it is at the moment. It's only, this is 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, 7 months now. By the time 7 months, already United Nations sending a report out. Take care your family and people, particularly the women who are in a vulnerable situation. So the reason, everybody knows the reasons are because of losing a job and insecure lifestyle create problem. But here, the whole world, 1.4 billion people in poverty line. Then 100 million people, no education, all these things. So these are the people, the poor I'm talking about. I'm not talking about a middle class who are going to work and computer programmer or CEO or something like that. These ordinary people who lost almost everything. So the situation going to be hell in a few months' time. The situation already a hell for lots of people in the household. The reason is because of the perception from the day civilization started to understand. When we were hunting and gatherers, we all had to be get together. You can't treat women badly because you had to hunt together. You had to cook together. You had to care for each other. When they come a little bit of civilized, the women body is control of man. That came, I wrote an article on that. That's when we started to have properties and lands, and is women become a kind of property too. So the body, the women body is a property of man. Man is a controller. Doesn't matter whether he rich or poor, black or white or brown, thin or fat, doesn't matter. He is the controller. So that still continue even now. So there's a continuation of me is the boss. So creating the friction. That doesn't matter how many educated people in the world wrote or writing or doing things to change the way men think about women, treat them equally. No. There are 30% of women in the world. Don't have that luck. 30% of women, 1 in 3 women face abuse in the world by their husband, the man she loved, the man she having baby with. 30%, they're a hell of a lot. In the COVID-19, when they talk about women abuse, the women violence, they said it's a variation in middle class, upper class, educated class, the people in urban, people in the village, and so on and so forth. But here in the COVID didn't come like that. COVID didn't see you are black and white and brown or thin or fat. They attack. They attack anybody. The COVID is attacking everybody. So because of the COVID is a horrendous situation, some people didn't know how to behave. He never have, say example, in England, we have 6 weeks holiday. So 6 weeks holiday, we planned what we do, where are we going to go, do the house, that take 1 week, and visit something or try. So you are planned your 6 weeks holiday. That's everybody does in England. Some people don't have a luxury of 6 weeks holidays. They have 4 weeks holiday. Some firms give only 3 weeks holiday. So that they plan everything. Now the men have holiday without God knows how long. They're at home. So the COVID started in China. The women violation, the first report came from there too. Well, according to my research anyway. There's Eastern China. I'm not reading it, I'm talking to you. That's what I wrote here. Her name is Lei. Eastern China. She's married to this man for 6 years. He was abusing her all the time. Now he is home. So he was abusing her Saturday, Sunday, maybe when he comes home, maybe. At least she got some hours to with her 6 years old son. Now he's 20 hours a day abusing her. One day he took the high chair, beating her up, beating her up, beating her up. So when somebody called the police, I suppose, or she called the police. When they came, she can't go anywhere. She can't do anything because of the social lockdown, everything locked down. Still, she is with her husband. She said, this is a life thousands and thousands are facing because men are home giving more trouble. Lots of people have a problem, but men go to work and come home. But here, men are there 20 hours a day, every single minute. He watch you, he observe you, he humiliate you when you don't like you. So that's happened to Lei. So another case, London Guardian people say, the whole world is facing violence against women at the moment because of the COVID-19. Brazil, the country, Brazil, second highest COVID cases at the moment in Brazil. There are domestic violence against women, 50% gone up. And Spain, 20% gone up. The lockdown implemented, then few days later in Cyprus, 30% of domestic violence against women has gone up. And in England, within a few days, 25% of violence report. More violence, violence is there, 20% more violence reported. So BBC said the people looking for help, that 150% gone up, 100% high. People made 1% today, 2%. No, suddenly after COVID-19, 150% gone up for women are looking for help. Please take me out. Please find me somewhere. That kind of call coming from. My country, like any other country, your country, they would say stay home. Yes. In Spain, there's a lady stay home like anybody else. The lockdown, 5 days later, she's been killed. She's been killed because she has nowhere to go to escape from her violent husband. In the whole world at the moment, social services, police services, the organizations such as Women Refuge, having horrendous number of requests coming for help, but they are overwhelmed by the situation at the moment. There are places the government, like United Nations asked them to do, the governments are taking action to help those women, but still not enough help, because almost every single government is facing financial problem. Local authority facing financial problem. The authority specified to help the women. Organizations specified to help the women, such as the Women Refugee Organization and so on, they all having problem because lack of money coming from the government. So because of that, the women issue is at the moment is getting worse, not better. Another thing, this is an issue I'm talking about women who are coming out asking for help, but not many women will tell the world she's beaten up. High number of people in the world, women, who face abuse from their husband, do not tell anybody, because she doesn't want to acknowledge herself, I'm beaten up by the person I'm living with, that she can't take it. For her, it's a personal insult, not only for her, her mother, father, the family. So she won't say it, she tolerate. So that's what they said. So the Kudumba Gauravam, so they don't say, and because of that, not many people, exactly how many people are suffering. We are talking about a lot of reports coming out, but yet there are lots of reports not coming out. People don't come out. So International Health and Family 2005 report says, 2005 report, okay, rape rate in England, 2 per 100,000 people. Dowry homicide rate, 0.7 per 100,000 people. Crime rate, 46% per 100,000 people. Domestic cruelty by husband or relatives, 5.9 per 100,000 people. 2014, the Lancet report says sexual violence rate in India is among the lowest in the world. Because as you know, there's a lot of report about sexual abuse in India, the headline hitting reports. But the Lancet 2014 said the largest population of India means that's a violation affect 27.5 million women in their lifetime. I mean, compared to the population, 27.5 million shouldn't be happen, but not the way USA. Example, in USA, 590 women faces violence per 100,000 people. So compared to that, some countries have lower. But the way it's happening is horrible. The violence in England, mainly domestic violence, intimate partner is called intimate partner violence, IPV. But India, I think the kind of social violence, the gang rape and thing, that is making people very angry in the Western world. Because Reuters report once said, India is a dangerous place for women in the world. So we will talk about normally what kind of abuse men do to women, ordinary time, which can continue in COVID time too. Acid attack, and also breast ironing, they call it, breast ironing, and date violence, taking her for a date and abusing her, domestic violence, doesn't matter what age, domestic violence, and pregnant women, violence against women, pregnant time women face violence. And also universities, there's eve teasing, or pagadiva they call it. And the Muslim countries, they have FEM, female mutilation. And many countries, I mean, India also, and doesn't matter where, if men don't like it, and what kind of things they do, making the women starving, don't give them food, or give them food little, or force them to eat the food she doesn't want to eat, or they do have an abortion. We don't want a baby now. Do it now. A life she's having in her stomach for him is not ready. Have it now. So that kind of abuse still going on. And some places, forced marriages. Some places traffic the women. I mean, கட்டாயப்படுத்தி கடத்திக்கொண்டு kalyanam cheyidal. So they take the woman and marriage by abduction. There's one example I tell you. There are some countries, I wrote an article years ago. Even in China is happening, because in China, because of the one child situation, thousands and thousands of children, babies being killed. Like India, if they don't like a female child, what do they do? Kill them. How many million? Nobody knows. China is going on like that since when they produce one child. So they only want a boy child. So the men in China don't have enough women. So they go and abduct women around their border country and marry them. That is a violence against women, marriage by abduction. Another abuse they do, marry the man who raped you. So it's a lifetime sentence for a woman who's been raped. So she has to be raped by him forever. So that is kind of a cultural thing people do. So some countries, they have bride burning. Some country, well, places like India, dowry debt, or make them to kill themselves. And some countries, they have honor killing. There's a Muslim country. I'll give you the detail in a minute about all these things. And India, we have Sati Udan Katterudal. Some countries, they force her to forcing her to kill herself. And when they go to, when we come to sexual abuse, universities we talked about, and in even the university, if you want to be a girlfriend, you had to prove you're my girlfriend. It doesn't have to be university, even in the workplaces. So that's a kind of, in a way, is rape. In a way, is a rape. They do. Then nowadays, there's another thing they do, cyber crime against women. So a hell of a lot of things. I don't have to go through. You are young people. You know more than me about cyber crime against the women, because what they do, how many abuse they can do through cyber, the social media. And some countries, poor girls are kidnapped or abducted, both of them, for prostitution. I think we have roughly 100,000 women from Eastern Europe in England brought here for prostitution from various countries, particularly Eastern Europe. BBC done the report. It says out of 300,000 women, over 300,000 men facing violence, out of 300,000, 118,000 happening in their own home. So now the COVID situation, shut the door, close the window, nobody will know what's happening to the woman. So what kind of situation, what kind of things they are going to face? The men can do slapping, pushing, kicking, biting, hitting, throwing objects at them, strangling, beating, threatening with weapons or using weapons. So the list can go on and on. What kind of abuse they have, they were doing it, they will be doing it due to COVID-19. At the moment, police station, refuge, and overwhelmed. I worked in a women refuge. I know when the women come running away from the real dangerous situation, she has nothing else except her child in her hand and the clothes she's wearing. Not even 10 pounds in her hand to go and buy the bread and butter. She just run. She'll run. That's what she does. Blue sometimes. Blue. Really. Bruised. Tears. Laceration. Scar. I have seen them because I work there. So that is a kind of thing they are facing in the coronavirus situation. And also emotional abuse they go through. This is not only by the husband and also the people who are with them. The husband don't say if he has a dominant mother-in-law, the women can go through the harassment and so finding faults all the time in her and treat her like an idiot. She does do nothing good and also use very dirty language, raise the voice and threaten, and shout, and sometimes the body language make her feel you are an ugly animal. So it doesn't have to be he or the people she's living with, doesn't have to say the way they look. This kind of thing making a human being so sad. Though this thing, COVID-19 period will continue. So what will happen? How can we help? This kind of the situation, emotional, physical situation, making the women self-confidence going away. So this is reflect her physical, mental illness, physical illness. It can exacerbate during the COVID time. So when a husband finding faults in her, she thinks she's wrong because continuously she and whoever they are in the house finding faults in me, something wrong with me. She beginning to feel about her, not me, somebody else. Because me, her idea of me lost in the situation where she doesn't see herself her anymore because they are given an identity. You are an idiot, you are a fool, you are ugly, you are no good. So these are the things the women in isolation, COVID, some of them, roughly 30% of them, are facing at the moment. Dynamics Universe Global Report, I said about adolescent. When they talk about women violence at home, they done the research in India. Over there, they said 50% boys and 53% of the girls, they justify the beating of their mother by their father. Because that's what they know. They can't analyze why daddy is beating mother. Because they think she deserved it. Because that's the way the daddy is telling her to. He doesn't tell I'm going to beat her. She does. He does. So 57% of boys think it's okay. The 53% women are saying it's okay, according to Dynamic UNICEF's global report. So அதாவது தங்கள் தாயை தாங்கள் அடிப்பதில் தகப்பன் அடிப்பதில் காரணங்கள் இருக்கிறது என்று சொல்கிறார்கள். The report சொல்லுது. So these are the things going to go on in the COVID time. The kids, the adolescents growing up in the situation. Imagine how they are going to grow up into father in the future. So a woman, what kind of sexual abuse she faced when she is in the house with her husband who doesn't love her, but she is there for him to be used as his property. So in England, women's right is a human right. No man can touch the woman unless he says yes. So that's the, I think, for Indian women to understand what I'm saying. Here, men cannot have sex with the wife unless she yes. But India or many countries not like that. For England, it is a crime if you touch a woman if she doesn't like it. So, and also in India, honor killing. So in the world, 5,000 honor killings going on. Majority of honor killings are in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Brazil, Canada, Iran, Italy, Egypt, Syria, Uganda, Britannia, America, so on and so forth. Because of England and America, here the honor killing quite often done by the people who came from other country. English men don't do killing their daughter because he's married to the Asian. He may not talk into her. Olden days in the 60s, if the mixed marriages wasn't taken very nicely, but doesn't mean that the father going to kill her daughter, his daughter. But the honor killing is going on in many countries. The forced marriage is going in many countries too, particularly in non-European countries, because non-European countries are, the women have more right than other countries. And dowry debt is high in India compared to other countries. I think other countries, I don't know how many other countries have. Western European countries don't have a dowry because there's no such thing as dowry giving anyway. So 2000 report, 8,391 murder in India. But Amrit Dillon wrote in the 18, that's 6,634, that's been reduced. But in the reason are they're getting lesser. People are more educated. People don't want to take it anymore. So how many people in the pregnant time having problem? The Canadian report says 20% of women beating, 20% of women choking, 40% of women are suffering from injuries, 50% of women are suffering from medical care, 13% of women are emotional abuse during the pregnancy time. So Britannia Medical Institute, so Tessa resumed, she said, because this kind of abuse during the pregnancy can create problem for mother and the child. So the mother can have an early baby, the baby can get into problem. And also I talked about older people violence. So the Healthy Age said the higher number of old people suffering in Mozambique, 75%, Peru, 83%, Kyrgyzstan, 39%. 5 European countries, over 50 women have been 28% of abuse. Majority of abuse for in African countries, because some African countries treating the old ladies as a senior karika. So what kind of medical problem the women can face because it is a problem in the COVID period? Broken bones from unwanted pregnancy to various things. I have explained to you what kind of abuse they're going on. So Zalu Nigam, she wrote an article recently about in South Asia Journal, 1990, from 1990 onwards, India is having a lot of changes, but abuse against women is not diminishing. So at the corona period, a huge number of people are isolated. And at present, the middle class women may face problem in their own home, but the women who live in the slums and streets, they are facing more problem, different kind of problem, poverty, hunger, abuse. And also the people who are leaving home, the migrants, some of the women have to have a baby in the side of the road because the situation was horrendous for the women. They don't have any help. And some of them lost their husband on the way home. So these people have no choice but to suffer. But the meanwhile, in India, the alcohol shops are open because of the economic situation has to open. But in the meantime, because of that, a lot of people, women going to face problem with a drunken husband, beating and abusing. This is a recommendation came from American National Medical Line. Because of the COVID, women are abused. So hashtag domestic violence said 300 times higher call came from China for help for domestic violence. National Commission of Women of India. March to April, 100% call came, higher call. And also many reports coming from the women who are in isolation in the COVID. There's a control of economic and பொருளாதார கட்டுப்பாடு. So that's mean not enough money given and so on and so forth. So what the government must do. So I can't go on about what happened in Sri Lanka. What will do? So what the government must do, find the way of helping them to create the refuge for the women to go. And because in Italy and England, they have places for women to go in a hotel. So these are the places must go. In India, one of the reports said, they must create propaganda to support these women who need help. So I'm going to stop now because I have done 45 minutes and you can ask questions because there are lots of things I have written we can discuss about.
Yeah, ma'am. We'll go to the question answer session. So, like, how can we control the activities like those who under the domestic violence? They has no way to tell it out, right? So, how can be it overcome? What is the way to stop all these things, ma'am?
Because in India, I don't know about India. Here, I don't know the situation in India. In London, there are organizations you can go for. Local authority from women organizations and women refuge, you can go for help. Social services, police station, they are trained to help these women because specific training given to women to understand this kind of issue and help the women. In India, only few organizations because India women do not come out. You had to encourage them to come out because India and Sri Lanka, marriage is sacred. So coming out of or complaining is very wrong. That's why the women do not complain. But because they don't complain, she's suffering and her children are suffering. In the future of the society is suffering, the country is suffering. Because when the child is suffered, and the mother suffered too. Because the situation in domestic violence in the COVID period, because of the isolation, is going to be more than the average time. So the ASHA, one of the organizations, according to my report, they are going in India, house to house, I don't know which part of India, and asking question, how are you getting on, indirectly, just to find out any abuse going on. then if they find out anything, they're trying to help them. So in India is a massive, massive country with not much money to provide this kind of help. But the community can organize, women organizations can help, voluntary workers can help. Because example, in our area, when older people, I was in Sri Lanka, I have email from my area, are you alone? Do you want us to come and help you? Do you want us to do the shopping? So this is a voluntary work you can do for women, because a women who think she need help, the voluntary workers, quite often the social service, and they know how to organize, and they go, the women go there just to talk, to start with, just to talk, and from there it'll go on to help them. They don't go and complain, they will go and tell, these are the things, I need help.
Yes, ma'am. Next question, ma'am. Like, what do you think about like domestic violence? Like, in which generation it started, and how could we overcome in this generation, ma'am?
Domestic violence started long ago, media. Even the women are kind of in a 3,000 years ago, female child being killed in Greece, or deformity, and female child, if they don't want it, they kill them. So that's kind of violence start. That's mean women is a second class citizen start many thousand years ago. So still continue. Because in India at the moment, you have 51% of women. In China, it's much more men than women. India, 51% men and 49% of women. Okay, 49% of women, 51% of men in India. In China, I don't know the detail, but there are higher proportion of men and lesser women. So because when they want a woman, they will go and kidnap somebody else. They will force somebody else to marry them. So that kind of abuse is going to go on. Because when they prefer male child, you will have less female. So imagine the violence against women in India, because there are one area in North India, no female child born in that month, that year, no female child born in that area, only male child. Why? Because they abort them or kill them. So in that kind of situation, violence starts from the womb. So how are you going to stop it? The women must say, we had enough. We had to stop it, because the world needs men and women. Women can be a pilot, women can be an astronaut. So we mustn't say men are better than women. They are better in many things, but educationally, influencing things for the society, technically or work-wise, we are equal in many ways. As a doctors, how many in England, high proportion of doctors are. Do you know who is going to the medical field in England? The high proportion of them are Asian boys. And second highest, English girls. English girls. Third highest, Asian girls. So the girls are doing more medical jobs than any other field. As a physiotherapist, as a gynecologist, as a psychologist, women are getting more and more because they understand human mind much more than men do. Men analyze differently, women analyze differently. So when you say we don't want a women, what are you going to do for workforce in the future? China is going to have a problem because their population is diminishing. Their population, one child policy, because of the one child policy, only male child, female child, I told you, they kidnap women from border countries. Border countries, there's a cases, they have kidnapped border countries. So we have to say, the educated people must say, we need women an equal right. Equal right, I'm not talking about in the Western sense of equal right. I'm talking about our sense of, we are Hindus. We came from a country, we are calling our land is a motherland. Only the German called fatherland. We call our land we born our motherland. Respect the mother, the land, and the mother you gave birth. This kind of issue you must bring. In India, India at the moment, this report from America came, I told you, the hell of a lot of toys being sold recently, sex toys in India. Why? Because it says, I'll read it for you. Uh, recently, um, the lots of condoms and sex toys being sold in India. So it's mean the violence, sexual violence going to increase in COVID time. So this is India. You never heard about such a things. But India is changing. India is changing into, the women must help them to make it better. We had to make the men to make the society better. Because we are not saying it, that's why the increase in violence is continuing. Because here in England, in the 50s and 60s, exactly the same. Women do not come out and say, I'm being beaten up, because I don't want to say my husband is beating up. She will put the lovely lipstick on and go in for a party. But the 70s and 80s, women say, we had enough. We don't want to. We wanted to do something about it. So 90s, and I worked in the women's aid in the 80s, mid 80s. So then I saw women from here. One thing I didn't say, because I'm going to publish this paper, you all have to read it. One thing, in England, high number of people who are suffering during the COVID time, ethnic minority women, because they can't speak the language. Although our internal minister said, you are not alone, then she propagated lots of preventative methodology regarding domestic violence, yet all in English. So the ethnic minority women can't read and write like that. In India, higher proportion of women can't read and write, or get into, they haven't got a way of getting this information. You had to work in the field. Sri Lanka is a tiny country. A lot of women organizations working with them. Doesn't mean that they are better than India, though, because violence is against women in Sri Lanka is the same. 96% of women are well educated in India, Sri Lanka. 90% of women complain about in the public transport. So the situation, the country to country is different because of the culture. Because in Sri Lanka, we have a minister, women minister from 1978. Lots of changes, lots of amendments, lots of law passed by. But you can't implement it because of the people in the power are men. So domestic violence, how do you stop it? So you have to have a law. That's why the United Nations, that's why the report I have been talking about, that the WHO, all are saying, you all have to stop it happening because of the coronavirus creating havoc for women in their own home.
Yes, ma'am. What will be your suggestion to overcome the psychological and physical stress that women undergoing during this COVID-19 pandemic period, ma'am?
Well, I was on my own for 2.5 months, 3 months with no family. I never seen one single family member for 2.5 months, not a single family member, because I was in a hotel isolated with the hotel staff only. That's all. I know the pain. What I did, I'm an old lady. I'm an old lady. The way I look at how do I going to help my mental health is different from you. You are young. I read, I write, I go for a walk. I didn't go for a walk out because I have a rooftop, big hotel. There's a rooftop, only me. I go for a walk. I do 6,000 steps a day. Sometimes I do 10,000 steps a day. That's mean 6,000 means just about over 2 miles. So I do 4 or 5 miles walk every day. So stress management, because I came from health profession. I'm a health promotion officer. So I know how to look after myself, mental health. But when you are in a situation, young lady like you all, say imagine imagine you are educated women, you may have a book to read, you may have a laptop to write, you may have a mobile to communicate with others. But the lady who said in London the other day, 25% of ethnic minority women do not have even their own telephone. This is in England. Ethnic minority women mean women who came as refugees and so on. They are under the influence of their husband. So when they don't have money, they can't buy anything. They can't communicate with anybody. So how do you overcome? It depends on where you are, what kind of educational level you have, what kind of attitude you have towards to, I'm going to be better attitude. I'm not going to let anybody put me down attitude. I'm not going to let anybody tell me I'm an idiot. So that attitude every woman must have, because we all have the same brain. 3 pounds, okay? 3 pounds brain, 1.5 kilos. So it's not much different from men and women, maybe a little bit different because they are taller than us, they are fatter than us. When you are taller, maybe tiny weeny 1 pound.
Thank you,
But
ma'am.
do we think the same?
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Okay,
Thank you, Mrs. Rajeshwari, ma'am. Such a wonderful presentation. It is very informative and energetic. Very, very, very thanks to you.
I'll
On
publish the
behalf of
paper.
our Ethiraj College, I must thank you. Before that, I would like to ask you, ma'am, the day before yesterday, you wrote one poem, no? About
Yes,
COVID-19.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Can you read that poem? Can you
Uh,
read that poem?
okay, wait a minute. I'll take it in my.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, do you like it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a wonderful poem, ma'am. I read in Tamil, translated by Dr. Prema, but I want the original from you.
Okay, I read it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before that, Aishwarya, Aishwarya.
Ask the girls. Ask the
Yeah, yeah,
girls.
yeah. Aishwarya,
Ask the girls at the evaluation, Amma. I wanted to ask 5 questions to them. Shall I
Aishwarya,
shall I read the poem
Aishwarya.
now?
Um,
Shall I read the poem?
yeah, please.
Cry out of fear. How did I get it? I'm so powerful. I should not have got it. I am powerful up to now. I can do and change anything. Now I cannot do anything. Oh, I cannot think clearly. My head is aching as someone has put my head into the grinder. My body is hot as I am drowning in the boiling water. I cannot breathe as something in my throat. Oh God, if you are kind, please let me breathe. Is the virus in me? How did I get it? Oh, why didn't I close everything? Did I miss the thick of it? When Italy was in crisis, now I see the staff is taking care of me. Most are here from far away, yet they have one aim. That is to take care of me. The oxygen mask, the ventilator, the monitors, the TV stands, all seems to be aliens to me. But the humanity around me is real. Kindness have no price. It's pure. I realized something when I could not breathe. That is, we are nothing. We cannot challenge against the mighty power of the nature. I realized I will do anything, protect to keep the harmony of the nature for the future.
Thank
That's
you,
my
ma'am.
poem.
Such a wonderful poem. Such a wonderful poem.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Then
Aishwarya.
anyway, Thank you. I
Aishwarya.
wanted to ask the girls a few questions. Did they enjoy the session?
Yeah,
Where's
it's over,
Aishwarya?
ma'am. It's over. It's over. Aishwarya, Priya,
Kritika Kirubanandan is there.
Tiruchi
Yes.
Thiruvanikaval. Aishwarya,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Aishwarya, yeah, please conclude. Please conclude with the vote of thanks. You tell her to Priya or Kritika will give a vote of thanks.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am. Shivaranjani has joined, ma'am. She will do the vote of thanks, ma'am.
Okay.
She heard all the.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. She was
Okay,
there in the
okay,
session, ma'am.
okay,
Shiva,
okay.
now move on to you for vote of thanks.
Yeah, sure. First of all, thank you so much for the audience for being so much patient and listening to this session. Good morning to respected chief guest,
Hey, good
principal, vice.
afternoon. Say good afternoon.
Sorry, ma'am. Sorry,
Say
ma'am.
good afternoon.
Good evening to respected chief guest, principal, vice principal, HOD, staff, and students. I take immense pleasure in proposing the vote of thanks for this event. I would like to thank our eminent speaker, Mrs. Rajeshwari Bala, for her informative session amidst her busy schedule. I'd also like to thank our chairperson, Tirumati Chandra Devi Thanikachalam ma'am, Principal Dr. Tirumati S. Kodai, Vice Principals Dr. D.B. Usharani and Dr. T.P. Usha Priya for their constant motivation. I'll failing in my duty if I won't thank our director, Dr. R. Mallika, without whom this webinar would have been a success. I thank Ms. Jayapriya for the technical support. My heartfelt thanks to my co-students, representatives for their support towards the success of the webinar. Finally, I thank all the participants for their enthusiastic participation and we expect support and guidance from you all for all our future projects. Okay, thank you so much. That is from me. Now,
Say thank to technical friends.
yes, ma'am. I thank
Yeah.
Jayapriya. Yes, ma'am.
Jaypriya, Aishwarya, Priya.
Yes, ma'am. I thank
Ah,
everyone, ma'am. I thank my
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
co-representatives and everyone.
okay, okay.
Thank you so much, everyone, for your guidance and support.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you,
Thank you
Malika.
once
Thank
again,
you for
Mrs.
inviting
Raji
me.
ma'am. Yeah, yeah. I will
If
call
they
you
want to
later.
read, if they want to read my articles, they can read in my blog. Lots of articles. Rajesh
Sure,
Voice,
ma'am.
WordPress.com.
Sure,
They
ma'am.
can
Sure.
read.
I will
Okay,
call you
thank you,
later,
ma'am.
ma'am. Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Okay, bye, bye.